No. So.
At this time, we will call the Jeff West 340 Education Board meeting to order, April 1st, 2026. Any comments for patrons and guests?
Oh, we got one.
Hey, my name is Dave Brown. In the big picture, I'm nobody. But 71 years old, I get a phone call from a guy that has grandkids or son and grandkids go to Shawnee Heights. He said, "So what's going on up there, Meriden?" I don't know what you're talking about. Because all these kids are being recruited from other high schools in Topeka to come to Jeff West. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I didn't think a lot about that at the time, but I was in a volleyball tournament, and here's a local head basketball coach from Topeka High School. So I went up and said, "Hey, what's the word about this?" Because it's all over Topeka, everybody knows it. A local employer in the Meriden area is offering these kids' parents jobs, giving them a place to live, and bringing them to Jeff West. And I'm thinking, again, I didn't go looking for this information. Maybe I didn't find out what was really going on, or I don't know that it is real. But I know that you guys have all heard about it before. And if that's the case, are we going to, if this happens, are we doing anything about it? And I've been told about the open enrollment, you can't stop. I can't believe that for 1 minute. But then I heard one of these kid parents is wanting to be an assistant coach. You may not be able to control one, but you can control the other if this does come down. And it's not the first time you guys have heard this, I'm sure. And our culture has changed that much from academics to athletics. I don't know that it has, but is that right? That's all I got.
Very good. Anybody else? Moving on, we have some amendments to the agenda. On 5.7, we're going to perfect keystone agreement. Don't got that. And then we are added an executive session on student issues, which will fall in line for student issues go in our agenda. But I get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? 7-0. We have something to add to the consent agenda.
Yeah, so part of the challenge of moving the board meeting from a Monday to a Wednesday, but us still sending the packet out on a Friday is we still have business go on. So we sent out to you today some bills that came in this week. If not, they would just wait another month. So anyway, procedure wise, it's up to the board whether you want us to hold on and send the packet out at the start of the week for just fewer days, or you still want it on a Friday where you have more time to look at it, and then we update routine things like bills. But anyway, we also, in case you were on the road, we printed you a copy. There are some, we purchase our student laptops this time of year for next year, so they come in time. Those are paid out of our student tech fees when we charge that enrollment. We use that in the other, and we can get into equipment facilities at another time, but our 6-year-old mower went down, and I kind of included that in a report, and it'll be nice if we can get ours fixed. We will have a backup, since now we're mowing all the Ozaki area starting this summer. But anyway, so that's on there. But I just procedure wise, we can add stuff after the packet goes out on Friday, or we can hold the packet until closer to board meetings. As others come in, but that's up to the board, but I just want to make sure that there are some other bills that came in early this week.
You guys' thoughts, you want the packet held, or do you want it?
We
Look
can
over
hold it
it.
until like Monday or, yeah, Tuesday. I don't mind it being held till Monday or Tuesday. I never live on the weekend, so. Yes.
You know, if you like it on Friday, then we provide, it's really bills that come in Monday, Tuesday. Otherwise, they would wait another month,
Yeah,
or we could hold the packet. It just depends on how you guys want to.
To have it more official, where everything's in the meeting minute or in the. Let's wait till. I was gonna say right before, but you know, Tuesday,
Okay,
if we can, and then that way we don't have a.
we're always emailing you, there's. other
Yeah,
bills.
that way everything's easy to find when.
But you used to get it on Friday and have meeting on Monday.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
That'd be Monday.
yeah, I think it'd be Monday at the end of the day,
Fine,
because, I think you have 48 hours.
just don't buy nothing on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, we hold it till the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is challenging when the first Wednesday of the month is the first day of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
But
Yeah. that makes sense.
So with that, can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Sorry.
All in favor? Stefano? John?
Done with.
Don't worry about it.
Academic reports.
if you, Rhonda's coming, if you hear that noise,
Yeah, is it the 3D printer?
it's the three.
I thought that was
printer over there. Some students project.
But
It
he
sounds
hears
like
it.
bird. Chocolate scary.
It's about 95% done, so.
And they've had to pause because we've been in state assessment, so they haven't been able to do it all the hours of the day, so. Good evening, enrollment, a few up and downs, nothing major. Couple kids in, couple kids out, so it stayed pretty steady. We did do our ice cream Sunday kickoff for sophomores on Friday, and then we did it for our juniors. Monday, just because we are starting state assessments, start getting their mind wrapped around that those are coming up and when they're gonna be, and shared information. We also shared information about our incentive for them to do well, which is they can earn an opportunity to opt out of finals. And they can earn that as a class or individually. So as a class, if they score higher than the state average, everyone in the class gets to opt out of a final. And individually, if they score 4 on the state assessment, they can opt out. So sophomores could actually earn 4 opt-outs if everything went perfect for them. Juniors could earn 2. With social studies, it is a classroom-based assessment, and they have 3 categories: claim, evidence, and reasoning that they're critiqued on. And if they get a 4 in 2 of the 3 areas, then we allow them an opportunity for an earned opt-out. So they were excited about that. We don't know if we'll get science results back this semester. It was a new test last year, and they did not send scores to us, if you remember, because their PET scores weren't spread enough. And so it'll be a new test again. So I don't know if we'll get that information this spring, or if we'll have to wait till the fall. If we wait till fall, we'll bank that for the students, but we should be able to do the social studies this spring. So they'll at least have one if they earn it through social studies. At our late start, our staff reviewed our 3rd quarter data, our attendance, our grades and discipline, and then worked on strategies and interventions for kids that fall in those tier 2 and tier 3 categories that maybe need a little more support in those areas. And talked about, is what we're doing working for some of them? Did some of them come off? And just kind of dug into the data a little bit and made individual plans for students. We're still working on getting 100% of our 9th through 11th to get their individual plans of study presented. So we have a few more to go there. As I mentioned, we're doing state assessments. Before we had to have this turned in, after that, FBLA had their state contest, and Proud to say our business management team of Brendan Ludy and Brody Barr placed 6th at state. And our business plan team of Kylie Allison, Paisley Emmanuel, and Person Wellman took 1st. So they have qualified for the opportunity to go to nationals, so they're working to see what would that look like? Can we get funds and everything arranged around to be able to do that? But they have agreed that if they're gonna commit to that, they will do more work, and so we're looking to see what that all is gonna entail.
And that is with the Westware business.
Yeah.
plan?
Yeah.
Cool.
And where is that?
It's in San Antonio this year. So it's drivable, which sometimes reduce some of the cost instead of trying to fly. But they're investigating all that right now. They just found out yesterday their results, yesterday the day before, so.
That's good.
Yeah, but kudos to them, that's exciting. Upcoming things to be aware of, our state large contest is coming up April 16th, and that will be our vocal and instrumental. And then the FFA has a banquet April 26th. We have our academic awards night, May 5th, a fine arts night, May 12th. And Reality U, which we've talked about before, is still on April 27th. So lots of things we'd love to have you be parts of. Join us, kind of mark your calendars. And then I just wanted to recognize Leslie Ablett and Mark Farr for the great job they did managing the concessions this year. It's from years ago where we were struggling to get people, I mean, it's not perfect yet, but we're so much farther than we were. And they've really took a lead in that, and it's been great.
Thank you.
Okay, I will be running back and forth. If you see me, I want to go catch some of the concert, but I also want to be here for some things, so I'll be in and out.
I thought we were gonna have a real good audience fun in the parking lot.
You have to move that
Send
meeting.
them over, they'll have fun. Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank
Thank you.
So as I was re-looking this over, there's a typo. I did not lose 10 kids in 8th grade. I still have 80 of them. I was like, that numbers were not happening there. So there are 80 of them. I did get a new 7th grader. He started yesterday. I'm like, hey, welcome to middle school. We're doing a block schedule for 4 days because we have ELA state assessments. This is not what your normal schedule is going to look like. Forget everything you did for 4 days. It's basically what I told him. I was like, but yeah, we'll get it figured out. But yeah, so he started, so brings my small 7th grade class up a little to 56. Like I said, we are in the throes of state assessment. We do ELA this week, and so I do change the schedule so that kids have a little bit more time than the 48-minute class period, and so we do block scheduling for 4 days. Our afternoon ends up becoming, I block it so that the afternoon isn't testing later in the day, but like their mind's fresh in the morning. And so they've been doing some fun activities, like Miss Molden's advisory has had a ping pong tournament. We've done class meetings every single afternoon. So either we're playing dodgeball, we're doing something, but something that's not academic. Like I'm asking you to give me your all for, about 80 minutes for your ELA testing. Let's do something fun. And so I think they've enjoyed it, just doing some different games and activities. We will do our second session, our last day of ELA tomorrow, and I do my makeups as I go, so I have everybody caught up. So as long as everybody's here tomorrow, I will finish ELA this week, and then next week we'll move on to science for 5th and 8th grade, and the following week will be math for all 5th through 8th grade. Those 2 subjects I don't change the schedule for. It'll be normal, but the teachers just know, like, hey, if somebody's taking a little longer, they might be late to class. Those tests, as we've found, don't tend to take the kids as long. With our ELA, we've have had some kids like going right up to that bell, just finishing that last question. So that shows me they are taking their time reading the passages, looking at the questions, going back into the passage. So I'm proud of them for working hard. We do a little incentive. We give them copying good tickets, and so if the teacher does recognize, hey, you are taking your time, you're not just clicking, they get to put their ticket in for a drawing, and I'll draw gift cards for 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade for all 3 tests that we do. So just a little something extra. So yeah, that's my April. That's what I'm consuming for all of April. My 5th grade teacher, just a little plug. If you didn't look through the course guide, there is a course for 8th graders only that is our teacher aid. It's not called teacher aid. In the course guide, we changed the name of it. But this semester we did have we have 4 8th graders who are teacher aided in 5th in fifth grade. There's 3 of them who do it 4th hour, and then I have one who does it 6th hour. In some of our needier classes, we may not have all the para coverage because, you know, a little short, but these kids come in and honestly, they're leading by example because that 4th hour is kind of, a study hall time. It's band time for 5th graders. And so my son is one of them. He will sit there, and if Miss Hammond doesn't have anybody for him to work with, he's like, can I work on homework? And she's like, I actually love that because he's showing the kids like, hey, when you have downtime, don't just do whatever you want. Like if you have a few assignments that you need to get done, go ahead and do it. Or if you need to read for your reading log, you know, get that stuff done. But he pulls a few kids and he'll help them on their math or, you know, other things. And so one of our other ones in Miss Shank's class, she's helping one of our kids who's struggling with writing. And so she helps, you know, she dictates it to her and she scribes for her. And so the teachers really enjoy it. So it's something we're hoping we'll continue. It'll only be probably a spring semester thing, just because it takes the 5th graders a little bit to get, you know, hey, this is what middle schools look like. And, you know, the teachers kind of working with them on routines. So we like it for the spring semester. But it's been nice to see just the kids get excited. Then they'll see the kids in the 5th graders see the 8th graders in the hall or like reading, just kind of building that relationships that'll follow them hopefully when they come into high school or seniors and freshmen. On the 27th, on our late start day, we had Miss Petrie and Miss Williams talk about AI with the staff. We had a pretty beefy IEP for 8th grade, so some of our team was out, but I asked them if they would talk about AI, and they sent out a survey just kind of get a gauge of where the teachers are and just kind of next steps. So we'll start planning that for some PD opportunities for next year. Then in the afternoon, Miss Andrews had brought in that Raised Kansas. Included that flyer just so you guys can learn about it. It was cool. She had in all sorts of different. She had like cybersecurity. She had, oh, what else? There was like an orthopedic surgeon, which some of the kids were like, that was real gross. Didn't need to see like the bones and all this stuff. But then they had like hands-on things. So they did like a short little presentation. Each different career came and like talked for 7 minutes. And then they all had their own little table. So then the kids could go and ask questions. And we had lots of compliments about how all the questions were, you know, well thought out. They were good questions, not like, how much money do you make? But like, you know, what kind of schooling do you have to have, that kind of stuff. And so the kids really, you know, took interest in it and used it as a learning opportunity. And they got to see careers that maybe they won't always get to see all the time, but just learn about other things that are out there. So that was nice. And then other things, our 8th graders will do their job shadowing. Miss Andrews is diligently working on all of that. We try to match the kids up with, you know, their top career choice. Just kind of how the day falls. There's some places we normally send that can't take them this time. So we're trying to get creative and pivot a little bit, but still try to get kids into something that they really want to learn more about. And then our 8th graders will come up and join on the 27th for Reality U. And then our 5th graders will start their 5 days of Starbase, which I did include that flyer. On April 13th. It is an all-day field trip that they go and they get to learn all sorts of different hands-on. It's pretty cool.
It's just one day. For
5 days. Starbase is 5 days, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be giving you elementary. I didn't realize it says elementary report, but I do always talk about preschool, so it's both. Got quite a little bit, and we're going to do numbers last to talk about that. So first, I'd like to say that our preschool at-risk application has been submitted, and I got back from the state that it's going forward to the board for approval coming up, I think, this week. So fingers crossed, but not concerned. So just keeping that process going. The second thing, March 23rd and 4th, we had our annual dental visit. The dentist actually comes in, they take over the computer room. She brings nurses with her. They get dental services. The board several years ago signed up for that to have that service, and it's still going well. I actually didn't get the number of kids that they saw, but she was there a day and a half. So she's seen quite a few kids, and it's a great opportunity for our community. You can see in there where Keystone, I reported that, you know, we had several new people join us. We did lose a Keystone Paris. So just the moment we had everyone fully staffed, I went down one. So we're on the hunt for another Paris. So it's not a problem. They've been helping and working well. We've been staffed well. And our one room now is looking as good as it has for a long time. State testing is also a theme that's about to begin at the elementary school. We'll begin next week, first with breakfast on Tuesday the 7th. So if you'd like some principal cooked eggs, swing on by. But we have the kids eat breakfast. We talk about get sleep, take a shower, get some rest, have a breakfast, come in ready to go. And then on the 8th and 9th, we'll do testing. And then again, the next week on Tuesday and Thursday, language arts first, math second. Let's see, follow that up with on the 18th of April, we're going to have a recognition dinner in Salina for Mrs. Haynes as the K-Toy representative for the elementary. It's kind of the kickoff to their program where they get going. So, I've got them numbered here. I want to make sure I stay in order. We are going to move forward. As you know, we have an opening at the preschool. And I had a staff member that's currently at the elementary school express interest right after we received that resignation. And moving forward with moving that person over. It's going to open up a position then for us at school. But I'm going to be having Angela Snyder move over from 3rd grade to preschool, former 1st grade teacher, 17 years experience. And she's, I think she'll be a great addition and some great experience in that building as well. But that'll be opening up that position then at the elementary school, and we'll work on getting that filled. Number 6, numbers. You have numbers there, but they've moved and changed. Our 2nd grader and our kindergartner did join us. Well, I take that back. They joined us, but moved that 2nd grader to 1st grade. They're homeschooled and working with the family and doing some evaluations. We decided 1st grade was a better placement this year to have him be his best next year. So you could move those numbers around a little bit. Neither of those grades needed a number. Those are our big ones, but they're living in district and starting a new business opportunity. So welcome to Jeff West, and we've got the boys in school and we're going. Jump over, well, you don't have this, but here was by the numbers. We had 48 new preschoolers listed for Roundup. 41 of them signed up. Well, they 48 have listed we want to come to preschool. 41 of them signed up for Roundup that we had Monday, and 34 of them showed up. 2 or 3 have said they've changed their minds from that list.
From the original.
From the original. So there was a couple numbers that attended Roundup. There were 23 3-year-olds and there were 11 4-year-olds. So yeah, we're going in the right direction. Currently, we have 16 3-year-olds, so call them 4-year-olds because that's next year, and 27 4-year-olds, which are accounted in my kindergarten list. However, of those 27 4-year-olds that are currently there, at least 6, maybe more, want to repeat because they don't feel that they're just age appropriate for kindergarten. And when you're looking at an August birthday, that's fair. And I support the family on that because we come in, but we're please come to kindergarten roundup. Let's go through the process. Let's get some more data. Let's look at things. And then as a family and a teaching team, we can decide what's going to be best. So the numbers are all over the place right now. As you can kind of see, I can't give you a solid, I can tell you how many are signed up, but then who's going to stay at preschool, who's going to show up at preschool. We have a preschool parent night coming up on the 8th. It's for the Roundup families. At Roundup, unlike kindergarten, where you spend a minute with the principal and then go do Roundup, we didn't want the littles to sit quite that long. So we got them right into their screening, got them going, got a playtime, got some cookies, and 45 minutes later, they were headed out the door. We're going to sit down with parents and talk about the nuts and bolts of the program and some potential changes coming next year and just kind of get feedback going, which I think will also add or subtract to our numbers. So it's all very fluid right now, but I like the early preschool numbers. The kindergarten numbers are 46 right now on my list. But if you take away the 6 that want to come back to preschool, we're at 40. So I'm going to have to look at our numbers. We have a big 2nd grade and I have 4 first grades. We have an open 3rd grade position. There's going to be some inter-building movement. So, and then August comes and 10 more show up. So we'll go day by day, but that's where we are right now. Any questions?
Yeah, with the inner moving, is that teachers that'll voluntarily say, I think I'd be better at 3rd grade, or do you tell them you're moving to 3rd grade?
Both. I reserve the option if it comes to that, but we're having some discussions and what are some options and yeah, it's just all kind of coming about right now, but it is both. I mean, that's how preschool position got filled was I had a letter on my desk the next morning that said, I'm interested, and gave it some time, and here we are. Now we have our kindergarten numbers looking like they are, but in a month, what will our kindergarten numbers look like? That could change. So we're just kind of day by day for a while because it's too early to make big moves.
Yeah.
But I'm talking with staff's talking to me, and it could go both ways. I don't mean that to sound slight. It's I can assign someone, or they can also come and say, hey, I'd be interested. And there's also some that I'm interested, but if it opens back up, can I go back the other way? You know, so willing to try, but I really love this other grade. And, you know, and next year, when all those 4 and 3-year-olds, you know, when the preschool numbers start coming over to kindergarten, maybe we're looking at another group of 55, 60, and then we need to look back at 4. So, you know, they just get a chance to come back or come down, come up, whichever way they need to go. Very fluid, very open-minded to getting the best people in the right seats.
Thank you.
Thank
Pretty
you.
close. Good evening. Well, as officially as on March 26th, both our boys and girls baseball and softball teams started their competitions. So baseball is currently sitting at 4-0 as of today, and softball is 1-3. So they'll both be going to St. Mary's tomorrow to play their next games. Boys golf regional or sub-state assignments were released, and we are hosting this is one of the 4 of this year's boys golf sub-states here at Village Greens on May 18th. The tee time at 8:30 a.m. So if you feel like watching some good golf, there'll be a lot of golfers out there that day. This past weekend, the theater group performed their performance of Clue on March 28th and March 29th, and that play took a lot of hard work from them. They spent some time over spring break building that set, so they performed really well this past weekend. Also, March 26th, we had about 20 students compete at the Kansas Classic Press Association state event. So they sat in Mrs. Sage's room, worked on different things related to the Press Association. So journalism articles, creating kind of graphic designing articles, different things that all combined throughout the press and journalism world. So 20 of them performed at that. Some upcoming highlights, all of our spring sports seasons, minus middle school track, are going to start as of this week. So baseball and softball obviously underway. High school track and high school golf will start tomorrow. High school track's going to Baldwin. High school boys golf are going to Emporia. Middle school track will travel to Shawnee Heights on April 7th for their first track meet. High school track and field, we're going to host our 2 home meets, April 13th for our JV meet, April 21st for our high school varsity meet. Staff needs, we are still looking for a middle school assistant volleyball coach, a middle school boys head, high school assistant football coach. So for employee recognition, I want to thank Tim, Corey, and Daniel for their work on getting the baseball and softball fields ready. And those coming up quick this spring, and hopefully the weather kind of stays clean for all the chocolate nights. So appreciate them for helping out.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Cole.
Moving on to, Keystone.
Yep, I took notes this time.
Good job.
I won't get into the interlocal agreement, that's 5.7. First, they're renovating the church to make that a professional development space, but that will not include district money. They're planning to move into their new building June 8th. The bad news is the part where their furniture bids, they got those and the movers along with it. All of that, doing the calculations, was roughly 42,000, so we would be on the hook for 8,000 to 9,000, I would think. So, that was just some quick math. That's just a ballpark idea of that. They've had a pretty good year on filling vacancies before this meeting. There was only 4 in all of the 8 districts. I guess now it's 5. They're already working on next year. And they knew they were 1 short at the elementary. But we were fortunate to have a long-term sub to fill in for where we lost 1 sped teacher, and we're actually looking good for the rest of the year, I think. But yeah, now they're focusing towards the next year. And they've got a good start on that. I know they've had at least 1, if not both, 2. 2.
2 at the high school, 1 started right after spring break and 1 will start in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything's going well there. They're pretty excited about the move and.
Well, very good. Your fun part will come.
Hey, we hired an administrator. We're good. I was worried about that.
All right, on to board issues. 5.1, information on technology upgrades.
Hi, everybody. Well, just a few things that are included in your packet that we wanted to present after the bond was a few of the safety and security things that we wanted to get addressed, which were the fire alarms. I'm kind of speaking on behalf of both Tims here. So me along with Keller kind of went through the fire alarm system at the elementary school and the preschool and came up with this number for roughly under $3,000. We can get them under monitoring and their first year of monitoring for about $2,900. And what that'll do is let us not have to replace the systems, but get them so that way if we have a fire after hours or even during the school, the system will automatically call the parties responsible. It'll take that off the administrators and the neighbors who might have to call in at 4 a.m. if either building goes up, thus saving us a ton of potential disaster recovery that way. So we worked really hard. Keller did a really great job with us on this. So we feel like bond or no bond, this is something that we could push through and potentially secure those buildings better. So that is the quote and the first thing on that. And then followed by that was a radio system for the preschool. Each building has a CB radio system, so it can talk to all the buildings. And so we had TFM Com come out to Ozaki to quote using some of the wiring and existing system that we used to have there with some of the new head end equipment that will work. And what that'll do is allow us in an emergency, if our phones and internet and those services are down, if the cell phone services are down, at least we have yet another way for that building to talk to the other ones in an emergency. If we start doing any transpo out of that building more and more, it would give the administrators in that building the ability to talk to the transpo vehicles as well. So that's what that TFM com quote was. We wanted to proceed with that regardless of the bond because it's just one more safety feature for the preschool.
So is this, like, can this patch, can all schools, is it on all school radios?
Yes, exactly. It would use the same channels and buses, like the buses, the bus barn can talk to the preschool. Every broadcast message as it is now, the handhelds, they all pick up those frequencies. I'm not entirely sure if the repeater system is still at the stadium for that. I think it is, and that's why it works as well as it does throughout the county. So this would be utilizing that system, not something different. And I should say that vendor already services the other systems in the district, so. So there were a few other things. The next thing on that list is our bell system, which is based out of this building, which is, and you'll have to help me on this, Derek. It was put in, what did we say, about 2015, 16 maybe?
It was probably close to 8 years ago.
Okay, so it's end of life, and one of the things that we've done to help shore it up is we've replaced its power back end, its emergency power, the things that provide the power to it. And Tim and I both agree that that has helped tremendously with a lot of the issues that we were seeing. Those batteries and systems went into place coming out of Christmas break. So since then, to our knowledge, we only had one issue with the system, which was more and less everybody coming back the same day. We had some issues, but since then, since we've replaced the power, we've been very happy with how the existing system has been stable. But it's still running Windows 7, which was decommissioned 2013. It's not under any warranty. Parts are going to become harder and harder to get for it. So Keller said that without having to replace all the speakers and amplifiers and all the equipment at all the schools, we can replace that head unit controller here for $15,000. It would bring the system back up to code, current date type stuff. So that was the another big thing that we'd hope the bond would address, but we'd like sometime in the next year to plan a process to replace that. It is stable and functioning right now, but it's one of those things that if it goes out, it affects our ability to do the PAs, the bells, and all the building, all call in every building but the preschool. So that 15K is more like 150,000 when you think of its importance around there. So we're very lucky that we have a fix that isn't a Band-Aid. It's a let's replace it, let's get it back under warranty and get it where it's serviceable, and then we can get some more time out of it before we make any changes to that. So those were the big three on that list. The rest of the list is what we're looking at to get done over the next year that we kind of had in the bond that we're pressing. Some of those are cost saving mechanisms, looking at getting thermostats upgraded so we can better control heating and cooling to save money. Getting walk-in coolers under surveillance so we could see if doors are being left open accidentally when a delivery happens. Because as you know, one of those coolers stores several $1,000s worth of food. So this would be a stopgap measure if we're having problems with temperature or that. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to do in the tech realm to identify how can we save the district some money as well as stop any disasters from happening. That's kind of what our big list there is. So that's just it for me on that. So if you guys have any questions.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Five point two, Marysville, East Leading.
So Marysville, junior and senior high school, they have submitted a letter of inquiry to Big East League about what it would look like to join as a member. So right now, currently our middle school sitting at 12, our high school sitting at 11 league members. They've got permission from their board and their superintendent to kind of send out this letter of inquiry. And as a league meeting, we talked about it. Pros for this move would be the high school wise. It would ease out some scheduling concerns with an odd amount of teams, moving to an even amount of teams from 12. But obviously the big con for us is travel. About hour 42-minute drive, so further around the town. And that's one thing we talked about at the league meeting. We have us schools who are more this way, kind of had a little hesitancy with that, but obviously schools that are closer that way, we're thinking the opposite of us. That's now, so I kind of like to get your thoughts and kind of where we would be at in terms of what this would look like for the Big East League. And we talked about it last week at a league meeting as well, and most of the schools seemed like they would vote for it. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention. That is something that's happening. It's not an official membership offer or a membership application, but more just an inquiry of would you guys be willing to it? What do you guys think about it? So I just kind of get your thoughts on the process.
How does
It's a
scheduling,
long ways.
yeah, how does scheduling work? Is it something where we could, I mean,
Yeah, like every other year, like one
Every
year,
2 years.
yeah.
Yeah,
or something
so
like that.
we're on a 2-year cycle, and that I should point out, this wouldn't take effect until 2028, 2029. So the next round of cycling.
Okay,
So like as a league for scheduling, we two of our league ADs, they have a Excel spreadsheet and it's got a formula in it. So every year they pop it, we draw a card, playing card, whatever number you get is that number you're assigned. And so it's got 1 versus 3 this week, 2 versus 4, and so on and so forth. And so it's kind of looks to draw that.
so it wouldn't be like we could all like schedule that would.
Yeah.
We would have, basketball, for example, kids wouldn't get home till midnight.
unless they don't have enough to play, and then they just play a quarter game, and we drove there for 2 hours and they get back. So can they guarantee us there's enough kids to play before we drive there?
The one thing the reason why they're reaching out is their league is getting bigger. Rock Creek is part of that league, and they're all growing in enrollment sizes. Marysville's declining. They took a look at their enrollment from kindergarten through now, and they don't anticipate climbing. They anticipate either staying the same or dropping. So they're wanting to, I'm assuming, leave that league because they're kind of on the lower end of competing because they're competing against bigger schools. And even their league championship, it's a mix of 4A and 3A schools. So it's kind of the same with us. We've got 1, 2, 3A schools. So
Just could they look at a north and south?
yeah, and like this has been a month ago they submitted this, so we haven't had a lot of discussion on what this look like scheduling wise. One of our ADs is in charge of scheduling, does have a computer formula for a 12-team league, but he's got to dig through his old files and find that. So next week we've got another league meeting and they would like to take a vote on it. As it stands, as our last league meeting, it'd be 10-0 on their end. So it's just kind of what I want to get your guys' opinions on as well. So I could take it to them.
What's the interest for Marysville? Like, why do they think that is a good idea outside even the?
Yes, they said culture wise, because it's kind of a rural school as well, and fits into the climate that we have here. The enrollment size is one, it kind of keeps the even playing field. We've played them before. I mean, a lot of schools still schedule them. I know we went there this year. We played them in sub-state basketball, so it's still a common opponent for a lot of schools. They see it as a bridgeway between Riley County into that part of the league for Nemaha Central, about the Hiawapas. So they're closer opponent for them. That's kind of how they see it as a bridge of how do you get Riley County to connect to that way instead of just straight across to us. Russell.
There's a lot of extra costs though,
There
too,
is.
involved.
That's
With-
why I hate to be selfish on our end, but I'm not, well,
I agree. It's,
With the travel involved and added cost.
well, it's just the kids that get home.
I mean, the Nemaha Valley trips back in our day was.
was
A long
Yeah.
Long.
even
This is
Riley
where-
County for that.
Riley
It's
County
long.
is
And to have multiple
brutal
routes
enough.
with that kind of travel.
And it's about 15 minutes for a drive. So Google Maps says it's fun.
Thank you.
Is it a majority?
It seems like a
So
majority.
even if we voted no,
Yeah.
it likely.
And I don't know in terms of if we don't do nameless, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Just vote last.
Right.
I can show you.
So I just. I would just like to be able to give them some feedback from you guys.
You're
on
welcome to
why.
blame it on us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were vocal
the
about.
dollar and cents thing,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
And-
Yeah.
But
I agree with the time too, because those late nights are tough. You want to limit those to as few as possible.
And that was the first thing I brought up was,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fall.
It's others with fun.
Well, good luck.
Call us, let us know how we're.
Thank you.
Blame me.
Yep, we can be the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy, bye.
Receive middle school, course, yeah.
Receive, not check.
I was like, I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to do. This is the first time we've done this. Peyton and I have talked about it last year, this year, and then I just kind of like worked on getting it all done. We just wanted something that was comprehensive, explained to the parents, because middle school can be overwhelming. You know, this is what the kids need to take. So we're going to use it when we have our conversations with our fifth graders to sixth grade transition meeting we're going to have in May, just to kind of lay it all out there. But we also want to help encourage the kids to try some of those intro courses that help tie into high school pathways. And so I've talked with Casey and I've talked with Haley about, you know, how can we at the middle school help kids just kind of broaden their horizons and not be like, I only want to take weights or I only want to take this. And so that's why we put in a few different things to maybe incentivize them to take some different stuff, but also to tie in just a few different things that would help the high school pathways, just kind of beef up the numbers a little bit too. One of the things at seventh grade level that would be different is we would have them opposite of their PE class would be that intro to pathways. What Miss Buss is going to do is she's going to adjust how she teaches her computer class, add a few other things into the sixth grade intro to keyboarding units and all the things. And then in seventh grade, she's still going to do computers, but they're still going to do some exploring of the different pathways in all the career clusters, just to, you know, broaden the kids' horizons. So that's one of the adjustments that we made with that. With our sixth graders, they are required to take that stripes class, which really helps them just work on those study skills, how to do middle school, you know, how to organize all my supplies, my time management, that kind of stuff. And we did that. This was the first year we did that for the first semester. And then eighth grade would still be the same as health and PE that are opposite. But we would hopefully be able to offer, what is it? The intro to ag next year. We offer building life skills this year, but next year, because it gets to be a half credit, it is intro to facts. And it'll count for some pathways if the eighth graders take it. And then we have Miss Buss has a couple computer classes, advanced computer classes, that she can offer that will count if they take it as an eighth grader, and then the ag class will count for an intro course as if they take it in eighth grade. And then like I said, what we were able, because I'm getting rid of that huge eighth grade class, send them on to high school. My numbers are a little smaller, so it does open up a few sections because I won't need 4 sections of ELA and math and science because we can get it done in 3. And still have smaller class sizes. We're able to offer a few different more electives. So Mr. Mayor's all about bringing back his Tiger News Network, and so we can get some of that media broadcasting stuff, get the kids interested in that at the middle school. And then Miss Taylor can do a STEM class. And And so that's nice. I mean, I like the big class sizes, but not because I only have 2 science teachers, and being able to go down into some sections and just kind of open up just some different things we can expose the kids to, which really that's what middle school's about, is just giving them that exposure, helping them just kind of fine tune, do some research on what careers or, pathways they want to take in life. Not necessarily, you're not gonna know all the things, you're not gonna know what you want to do, but if we can help expose them to give them some idea, I think that would be good and help set them up for what they want to do when they get in high school, and kind of build that foundation. Which is why we did put in a Pathway Explorer award that they would get if they, through 6th or 8th grade, if they complete at least 1 elective in 3 of the 4 areas: fine arts, ag, business and finance, and human services, which is all doable. They get a semester of something. So just getting them to just be more well-rounded. But this was just for you guys to look at and see kind of how we laid it out. I did share it with Ms. Dean, our curriculum director, and she said she liked it, how it was just, clean cut. This is what it is. These are what they can take at each grade level, and just kind of lays it out. If you guys have any questions?
Thank you for all your work on that.
Yeah, very
That's
good.
cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
Student cell phone legislation. Susan.
So I shared with you the bill. It has some additional stuff in it that sometimes they tend to take other things into legislation. And that's around accreditation. But the main part of it is it goes into effect next school year, but it basically bans cell phones K through 12 in the buildings. So there's a lot of logistics around that. Even though we are closer as a district of meeting those requirements than further away. But you gotta look, it lists a lot of different, from the Apple Watch, the earpod. I mean, it just a lot of devices that so where school districts are right now is just sharing. How are you going to, what are you gonna do at the high school? Because it says just leave them in your car. Well, not everybody drives. I mean, you can't just leave it in the bus. You can't, so, and then there will be communication to parents. There's in there punishments for, what happens if. So we have some time. I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware that that bill did pass. The governor did sign it. We will be working between now and through the summer. We'll keep you updated on, when we learn from what other school districts are thinking. Do you have a station where they can come and just drop them in? Does that, now we got a bicycle, we got, you got another thing to manage. It's, but, a year ago, we talked about the state board did a big study and provided recommendations that were somewhat similar to this, but they weren't mandates. This one, it's now law. So you don't have a choice. So anyway, I just wanted you to be aware, to share the legislation with you. We're discussing it right now, and there will be some logistical things that, okay, you just can't leave it in your book bag in the locker. Okay, that's probably a violation of the law.
Nobody uses the locker.
Yeah, no one uses a locker. You can't just put it in your book bag and carry it around with you and only take it out. It can't just be a sight unseen, so.
Might be bringing lockers back.
Yeah, or just don't bring them to school, leave them at home. So there's a lot that we have to dig into this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But there are some penalties associated with this of students, because it quickly gets parents involved.
Yes.
In violation.
Well, and the onus is on the teachers for a lot of this, on, having to,
Police
execute anything that is decided. They've got, the onus is on them to execute it. I don't envy it. It's gonna be a.
So the good thing is it didn't go into effect as soon as,
Or the ink was dry.
so it does give us some time. I believe it's still September. But we have a lot of school districts, a lot of service centers and people that they'll be working on. KASB will follow up with some policy for us to consider.
Do they think about how busy it's gonna make the office, ladies?
No, they don't.
That's
They
like.
don't, they do not. They don't.
Do they still make payphones?
I
I
mean,
have to bring that back.
call every day, tell my son to pick up his brother.
I was just about to say that, but.
You know, how are you hiding them in the ceiling tiles?
There you go.
So anyway, we have some time, but every school district in the state will be collaborating on sharing. You know, what sample policies, what they're gonna look at, and obviously it's different at the elementary than it is at the high school, and it's just. But, in the spirit of local control, we have a new requirement from the state.
One schools that have like little lockers, cell phones or whatever.
Who's in charge of coming up with the plan? Is that you and building
We'll
administrator?
work with the administrators, we'll learn, we'll keep you updated, we'll bring you.
I don't wanna be, I'm not going to be asked. I'm just wondering.
No.
No, you,
So,
not volunteering.
so,
Alright,
but there is a lot of logistics around it.
What kind of funding is there? Like, just from a dollar and cents standpoint, like you mentioned, if we're doing away with lockers because no one uses lockers anymore, and now we have to buy this thing where they slide in their cell phone and lock it up, like what type of funding is there from the state of Kansas, or are we on the hook for that?
or we have our new lockers.
It's all,
I said they use those red.
you'll find it doesn't mention anything about,
They're already paid for.
there's no. Yeah, none.
They use those out there.
Alright, moving along, mental health committee update.
That's gonna be a
Let's go
little
for it.
night.
Irony, it's okay.
No, this is just on a serious note, this is, there has been a group of us that have taken turns. Who can make it for afternoon, late lunch type deal on, a mental health committee. After talking to Mrs. Jensen, we, found there's a. Not just her, but we found that there's a huge gap.
Particularly with gen ed in the area of social work, not just social work, but that's kind of where they're feeling it the most there.
Yeah, so we have a lady through Keystone who works just with ITs. Which these are gen ed kind of out there, who still have issues. And her caseload is extremely high. We may have the opportunity of Keystone Department share a position, but once again, there's financial are tied to that. We do utilize the tier 3 behavior MTSS training, maybe we need to go into that some more.
That was one thing that we did come away with. It sounds like there was a big comprehensive training in 2018, did they say? There's been quite a few teachers turnover between now and then, so we feel like maybe we talk about a refresher course for those that have already been trained, or for those that haven't been doing some kind of training. With MTSS, just so everybody's on equal playing field, everybody knows, it's the same plan across the board. So we did talk about that. I think that could be helpful for this next year, possibly.
Yeah.
At least, so maybe general ed teachers in the classroom can intervene or remind them of, here's your tools, try this before it escalates to a tier 2 or tier 3, where we've got to get counselors, social worker, therapists, whoever involved. So teach them some of those skills. Also, the Character Strong, which is our SEL training, or I don't know, curriculum for students that are tier 1, meaning everybody gets it in the classroom. Our elementary school and our middle school are struggling to find time to get that into their schedule because there's just a lot. There's just not enough time in the day to do all the things that they have to do. So making that a priority this next year to find a way to get that in so that they've got a good foundation for this stuff before we get to tier 2, tier 3, and then beyond. So that's what I came away with. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but that's something that's been stuck in my head.
And going forward, you know, it was a huge eye opener to learn what we do.
Yeah.
What actually, I mean, what teachers actually do, you know,
A lot.
yeah, I mean, I didn't realize, you know, I hate to put Mrs. Lloyd on the spot back there, but it was an eye opener when she told us, you know, what her morning starts out like some days, you know, it's, you just, it's just mind blowing to me and to wrap. I don't have the capability to wrap my mind around what you do. I mean, it's too much. So I think we're kind of, you know, we need something. But we need to know, you know, we need to know what we are doing now, you know, what we're doing right now. Let's, because I think we're doing a lot right now, but we do have a large gap somewhere. So we need to figure out what that gap is. We can't just say we need a social worker.
And what preventative measures, I took that away, we can work on now to
But I mean,
help
we do
from getting those.
we do
higher.
need a social worker, but we need to have, we need it. But we need to know what we're doing now and what this position would look like. You know, a lot of the time would probably be spent with Jen Ed. Am I wrong, Casey? A lot of the time of another social worker will be spent with Gen Ed.
That's kind of what we talked about. Oh, got the universal tier 1 foundation there with our heritage strong. And Peyton briefly talked about how she has started to be able to implement some of the small groups, which is really your tier 2 stuff, which is your preventative stuff that prevents you from getting to that tier 3 or the crisis level situations. And I think district-wide, that's really where our gap is your counselors are busy right now putting out fires with your crisis situations, and we're missing that tier 2 NPS level for mental health. That's where that gap's really at. Right now, we're just putting out fires all the time because of crisis, because we don't have that second level tier 2, and we're just not even meet that ink right now with the small groups and stuff.
Yeah.
All rebuildings.
Yeah.
So.
And we don't have a good protocol in place, is what
Right.
I also took for tier 2, to which somebody had suggested it would be nice if we could tour another district that does it really well. Brad's got a list of districts that he was told do it really well, so we are looking into going and looking and, I don't know, shadowing, visiting with them, or sending a team.
Model for like
Yeah.
your reading tiers, your math tiers, but there's not like a really well laid out social emotional tiered system. And so finding somebody that does it well, seeing what that looks like, and then how we can meet that need with what we have right now. You know, ideally a social worker would help fill that gap. But right now, what we can do to meet those tier 2 needs so that we're busy being proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
When kids get into a crisis situation.
Love it.
This will continue to be on the agenda.
And we need to send those meeting notes to
Yeah.
the board. We just got a final copy, today,
Yeah.
maybe even. We'll send those to board members so everybody can read through them too.
5.6 calendar, 2026, 2027 calendar review.
So all of you have a copy of the proposed calendar. You also have attached to it, just kind of notes of. We took this year's calendar, basically picked it up and set it into next year, knowing that the dates shift one. And then we reduced the contract days from 185 to 183. And then there's a few subtle changes in here. For maybe a half day here was moved to a half day there. Probably one of the biggest changes was the committee looked at and administration looked at the idea of day 1 being a half-day transition day for those grades that you're actually transitioning to a new building.
I love that idea.
So it's a half-day teach day, half-day work day. That'd be kindergarten, fifth and sixth, and ninth grade, and then all new students to the district.
That's good.
And all the other teachers would just put a plan together, how do we work together that first morning, helping them navigate this new place. And then all new students would start, or all students would start on the 13th. Other than that, it's still a full week of Thanksgiving. There's always challenges. Now Christmas Day's on a Saturday, which means New Year's Day's, on a Friday. I mean, so everything like Christmas Day went from a Tuesday, then to a Wednesday, then to a third, everything shifts. It seems like, because it does, that you get earlier in August and you're out earlier in March. Or excuse me, in May each year.
I think they like that.
Yeah. Because every year the date moves, then after about 7-8 years, you roll back into the later in May and start, and then you just gradually keep over a 7-8 year period, you keep moving. So you can see it's like, next year, August 3rd, instead of a Monday, will be a Tuesday. And then it'll be a Wednesday, and all of a sudden you're creeping earlier into the month of August. And so, but that's just the way the calendar works. So you got to look at, we align with all other districts with spring breaks now. We align with, so at some point districts are going to have to shift. But this isn't the year to do that. So I just wanted to provide you, there's also some notes on there. There was a couple options that they looked at, but then the vote was to narrow it down. This is what they presented. Now, the way that works is they provide a recommendation to the board. And then it's really the board's, but this is their recommendation. And there's never anything perfect in the calendar. One other thing that's new, just to make sure that we wanted to put it in there so people at least understood. I don't know the last time Jeff West ever had to make up snow days. But we put down there on the bottom that May 19th and 20th, that's what that pink, we just wanted to make sure they knew that if we had to, those would be the days that we would stay in session if we had a bad winter. We used to have about 9 snow days, but with changes in the contract and stuff, we're right around 7. So we have some cushion. But if we had a bad winter in some districts, last winter, there were several districts, Junction City, Atchison, they had to come back and make up some days. We haven't had to do that. But so if you see that on there, that's also new, just to make sure people know that, hey, those would be the days we would do it.
Very good. Does, anybody comfortable voting on this, or do you want?
I'd like to look through it closer. I mean, it's important.
Great.
Let's
Moving,
do anything after if we wait a month to vote on it?
Well,
Yeah.
we're already looking at building next year's calendar. We can wait till May, but just knowing it's not a lot different than this year's calendar. There's not a lot of, we're just making sure that as we start looking at, like when Cole and the league's already looking at scheduling, it might end up that if we make a change, all right, there's gonna be a ball game on a day that, so those are some of the things. It's overall, it's not a lot different than this year's calendar.
I love the transition day. That's great.
Yeah, that's really neat.
very good. So you guys want to hold off or?
I'm fine. Aaron?
I think my only question, and you guys, it could probably be answered right now, is I know, was it 2 years ago we switched to Thanksgiving week, taking the full week? And I think my biggest concern was, that's a full week. And I get the not being able to focus, the excitement of the holidays and stuff. My concern is those kids that might not be getting lunch those days and things like that. Do we have something in place for before the holiday to plan for these big breaks or things like that? Is harvest, I mean, do we
In
still?
the
say
past,
that?
we did harvesters where
Yeah.
they could come and get so many sack lunches, which Wes could probably, but
Yeah.
last year I thought it was like.
They shut down in Topeka and moved it all to Kansas City and were they were only offering us 9 cases, 9 boxes, which was maybe 9 boxes every 2 weeks. So I don't, they ran into several financial issues. I don't know the whole story. And we weren't getting enough food, and we also had a lot of lost interest. We were serving 65 families and we were down to a dozen.
Okay, that makes
So
me feel better knowing.
everything
that,
going
yeah.
on, we just said, thank you, but we're gonna step out.
Okay, that
Now,
makes,
I do know our counseling team in all 3 buildings work during the holidays for supporting, and it doesn't get every family, but there are families in need that we help through the holidays, both Thanksgiving and, now, that's us, local support. A few people come in and say, I want to support that, here's $100, and the team does that. That's not feeding our schools. It's not the masses.
no, but if help is needed, I mean, let us know. I'm
If
good
help
with
is
this
needed,
otherwise.
we're
That was my
asking.
only concern.
And we
was-
do that anytime.
Okay,
Yeah, we do that anytime.
A couple of years ago, Booster Club came together and did what, like 100 and some odd sacks of food and stuff for.
Yeah, when harvesters first encountered a glitch and we weren't gonna get a delivery, Booster Club said, oh, we'll do it. And about after 2 weeks, they were like, hold on.
Yeah, that was like.
Because it was a help
It
to
was very-
fill that hole. That was great.
Community about-
But they realized quickly that it wasn't sustainable vegetarianly and time and everything. So it was a bite, but they did fill in for a week or two, and that helped get us over the hump. But then from there, really honestly, it all just kind of downgraded from that point on. That's when it got difficult. And we had kids also leaving the food behind. They wouldn't take it home.
Yeah.
So we tried all ways. So yeah, there's
okay. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I move to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented.
So,
Aye.
7-0. We are to the amended Keystone, or the amended part, the Keystone agreement. Nothing back there.
All this is what we talked about before. If the local were to dissolve, we would get back what we put into it in that percentage.
So we changed our name.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
Yes,
the
it
only
did. And it's been ran through the lawyers. Now we approve it, then it goes back to lawyers and, it was the red tape, slow
There's a
process,
lot.
but now we're up to or disprove. If you don't like it, but that's all it is, and basically we get back. And if another district comes in that didn't add, they don't get anything. So it's just, it
There's
protects our
language around
interests.
like merging of districts potentially, and like they tried to think of every possible.
Well, you got to in that, Brett.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
But then you also can't think of every possible, yeah.
The only other one difference is method of financing on the second page. That you can see there in blue, that they did add in, when calculating your percent of the pool, any virtual students that are enrolled in your district. They did not have that, and they gave us a grace. The 1 year we
Yes.
had an additional 1,300 kids. Otherwise, our percent would have been like 97, I don't know.
It was a lot.
All of it.
Right,
We were,
50.
It was,
And they were very gracious, that year. But that is now in there, because we do have students that enroll here attend Greenbush Virtual Academy that we only accept if you live here and you're a Jeff West kid. And some of them have the IEP services. So they're included. That's the only other additional language that they're figured in.
So John, you need a vote from us.
Yes, we need to approve it. It's now out to each board to approve, and then it goes back to Keystone. They submit it to ASPE. And then in 6 to 8 years, they get back to us.
About the right timeline.
Yeah.
So the resolution is actually, there was a resolution for every district in the interlocal. I just included the ones but there is a resolution that needs to be read.
There we go. You're a lot better reader than me.
Where's it on? The final page?
Oh, okay.
It'll be the first day of April,
Not 2015, probably.
2026.
Okay, upon the first day of April 2026, at a duly convened meeting of the Board of Education, Unified School District 340, with a quorum of board present at voting to adopt the following, and be it resolved that the Board of Education of USD 340 shall enter into the interlocal agreement as amended with the Northeast Kansas Education Service Center, DBA Keystone Learning Services, and it is further resolved that the president of the Board of Education of USD 340 is authorized to sign any and all necessary documents to enter into such agreement. Does that need to be seconded?
Public,
Second.
all in favor? 7-0. Might give you one chance. Budget update.
So I don't have anything to printouts to share with you right now because we still have 3 months left in the fiscal year. But we're gonna have to do we have 1 year left this year where our cash balances can carry a deficit. And by June 30th, we will most likely have to move 300+ thousand dollars of custodial salaries to capital outlay. We will probably have to use a contingency for some of the health insurance. Because if you want to look at the fiscal health of the school district, you look at their cash balances that they start out with on July 1. You have to have cash in special education because you don't get your first payment till October 15th. You have to have cash in food service because you don't start drawing revenue till either students pay fees at enrollment or, but you got it. So you have to have cash to carry over. A healthy cash balance for school districts, interlocals, is around 12 to 15%. We're down to 7%. So we're going to have to turn that. And so at the May meeting, I will bring some recommendations on how we will address this year's and how we got to think about next year and the following and the following. I don't know. I will always try to throw in the glass full because that's just my personality. We're in a different situation. There's 3 kinds of school districts financially right now. Declining in enrollment, holding steady or going up a little, or just significantly increasing. Those are your suburban. We're in the middle. We have a lot of neighbors that when we look at next year's that I shared with you last month, if our enrollment stays the same and doesn't go up, we will generate about $210,000 to $220,000 in new revenue. But we already know health insurance quotes, there's 118. So if people moving on, if, onto the health insurance. We don't know yet about our special ed, so. But we have districts close to us looking at 20,000 in the hole to 100,000 in the hole of revenue next year. So we're in a different, but still, we have to turn where we're spending more than we're bringing in. I'm working on the last month, I've been going back to 6 years ago and looking at, and 80% of our operating is people. I mean, that's just, when you think 20% of our budget is utilities, supplies, all that, I mean, there's things that we can do there, but we are a people business. So, it's taking a lot of just really drilling down item by line item, fund by fund. And we will bring some recommendations at the next meeting with we'll spend a lot of time just digging into, just a 5 to 6 year history of how we are here and what are our plans to move there. So.
Very good.
Thank you.
That won't be fun, but hard what we do. Next up is student issues, and this will be an executive session. We need to invite Mrs. Barr and breaks. Or 10 to 15, okay?
I would say start with 15.
15.
Yeah. That ought to do it.
Is
These
this,
are my big questions.
is this item 6 or item 10?
Yeah, it's on there twice.
Oh,
Well, you have, student issues are not an we don't have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
It
yeah.
makes easy killer, you're jumping down.
Well, on mine.
I mean, I'll jump in.
Student issues.
there's two of them.
No, student issues is public about stuff.
Sorry.
We don't have any
Yeah,
of that.
my bad. I'm sorry.
Everybody sit down.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Facilities, 7.1 bond issue. Plan discussion.
So. Just the timeline. And for the board to just have some discussions about what might be your next steps moving forward. At the last meeting, the board wanted to take a month to kind of hear where's the community? Where are we at? There was questions about, well, what's a timeline? Well, the next election would be in November. If that would be the desire of the community, which means you would have to have, the board would have to pass a resolution at the August board meeting. So I'm just kind of laying some things out as you think about next steps moving forward. We've had some community people say, hey, I would like to be a part of the next conversation. One recommendation I would have is that each board member between now and the March meeting, find someone in the community that is willing, to nominate to be on a community bond committee. And then we pull those 7 people together and share with them I don't know if we need to know more than what we currently do about our facilities, but then we could work with that committee to say, here's what we do know, what questions. In the meantime, HTK, the architectural firm, if the board desires to continue, because we're gonna have to update cost estimates. Because now we're looking further. Most things, you know, when I visited with them, last week, you know, you're looking at a 5 to 7% every time you push it back. So they would have to do some cost estimates based on what the group would want to look at. So
Not something we could do on our own or search people out to do. I just,
you could take the item and times it by 1.07. It's just whether or not the board would want people that have people in the business that would be able to give you a more accurate than 1.07.
Or do we still have them on retainer?
Or however you want. The committee is gonna ask questions, probably. Well, is this the same cost? Probably not. Well,
What is it?
you know, do we wanna ballpark it? Because I don't think we wanna ballpark estimates when it comes to August. When you're voting on a scope of work not to exceed, you're gonna want some, but they could provide that type of role. There's not a lot, you may want more renderings, you know, the committee may want, you know, visual, they could serve whatever the committee would need, or what the board would need.
and will it be a flat fee again, or could we just,
They typically get their fee when the bond passes.
but we still have to pay to retain of some sort, don't we?
That would be depending on what you would want them to do.
Maybe we don't need them right away.
Yeah,
Maybe-
you won't need them until the committee says we would like to start getting, and then we can then reach out to them and say, what would this and entail?
Can we approach it a little different and say, get together and say, I think community would get behind X amount, 8 or 10.
What can we get for them?
And what can we give them that? Because showing them, well, this costs this much, this costs this much. Okay, here's what we're getting now, guys. We're getting HVAC fixes and stuff like that.
Or they could put together different packages, like you could get this
Yeah.
package for 10 million.
But
or
start
this
at
package
one.
For 10 million.
We've done it too many times. We need to start at one that's 8.
Well, I
And
think-
then if that passes, then one at 10.
I
or
think we
something.
prioritize our needs.
Yeah.
And the feedback I got from a lot of people was they wanted what was priority. And we prioritize our needs and then base it off of that. And
Do a multi-part.
Well, I think it needs to be
option.
multi-part.
That,
we could do
But
that.
I think we're spitting in the wind if we don't make one that is
Doable.
doable, that we know will pass. We need to make sure one passes. We said that the last time. It has to pass. And I don't care if it's 5. Needs to be something to get us over a hump. And then if that passes, say it's 5, and then make the next one, you know.
And then how many years people are.
We're no, and then have an option if 5 passes, then would you do 10 in the same time? Something, but we need to have one pass, doesn't matter.
right, yeah.
We were in dire straits last go around.
Well, and then if they have those conversations, then the bond advisor, they can then say, okay, based off updates, if you wanted 5 for 5 years, 10 for 10, you know, they can provide that committee, whatever it is. They'll just sit there and wait until the committee or the board asks, hey, could you do this? And then we can, and bond advisors are typically the same thing. They make their fee once they sell the bonds. That's part of that.
So you want each of us to pick, sorry.
I'm
I
just
was
throwing out a
I think it's a
suggestion
good idea.
in a way to be able to get, okay, 7, you know, if everybody brought back.
You're
to the
gonna
May
get probably
meeting,
the best representation of the community, because we all know different people.
We're very, it's a
It's not-
diverse group, for sure.
Absolutely.
Also, these people need to be clear on the expectations because we really need people that are engaged and are willing to remain engaged throughout the whole process up until election day. They need to be willing to be vocal. They need to be willing to educate the community, even when it's hard, because it's not always fun to do that, but we need, we need people that are willing to be that voice, and that's a big ask. So just make sure they're clear. It's a big ask.
Let's- Yeah. You can't nominate each other. So let's do our due diligence and.
Yep.
Report back to.
And when you have someone, send it to me. And then if. For some reason, two of you sent the same person, I'll let the second person know that someone else already,
I'd like to take suggestions too,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's for a lot of you guys that attend a lot of these meetings. Please send your suggestions, send an email, because
Well, you need to have both sides of the coin. You can't just have a bunch of yes people.
yeah, absolutely send
Are
suggestions.
you volunteering?
I have sat in these meetings.
You have.
more than Probably anybody in.
You have. Yep.
And I came for a reason when I started coming, because I don't trust the board.
I'm sorry.
I'm still in that same predicament.
Very good. So,
well, and I think it could be that, yeah. People listening or whatever,
If you want to be on.
if you wanna be on the committee,
Yes,
well,
please let us know.
let a board member know and. But I think that would give a month to be able to go out and look and visit with and. And talk to some people in the community and.
so we can't have enough help. I mean, yeah, we need. Yes, no, maybe we need it all. That's fine.
Nope.
The Ozaki facility space discussion.
It's up to I think John showed or shared that their timeline is to move out June 8th, 9th.
I think that's what they're planning. And things are going pretty well over at their building, so I think that's gonna be a pretty good schedule right now.
Yeah. So early midsummer. I think I shared with you, there's a lot of square footage that is mostly office space, but it could be converted. We don't have funds to do a lot of conversions. But there are some advantages of having district office over there. Now, I mean, there may be other thoughts on what to do with that space, but it's gonna be vacant. And if there aren't any other thoughts right now, I know we could save some rent money.
12,000.
And if places, when I'm at the bank, I've got to physically get in a vehicle to have any kind of a presence in one of the buildings. Well, and I gotta go to 4 different buildings. Well, now I'd only have to go to 3, because being there every day, I can provide some administrative support, so.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, that would relieve some pressure.
We'll get less back in elementary.
And the more adults you have around a herd of cats, the better.
It does, and it relieves the amount of time, because right now, Wes and I drive over there trying to share time, that relieves.
Yeah.
Times Wes has to go, there are disadvantages, we have HR over there, so if staff need to go see HR. You just added
A few minutes. Yeah.
6-7 miles to the trip.
Yeah.
But, you look around, Point Mayetta, Perry the Compton, Rossville, St. Mary's, there's a lot of school districts that, don't have the luxury of everything being in one town, so there are disadvantages to it. but I think there are some advantages but. If we were, then we could begin to start making some plans of what that might look like.
Yeah, because if Keystone is buying new, I don't know what they're planning to leave or what we could talk to them about. We could use.
They're gonna leave
We
quite a
could save
bit.
some money on the, moving
Yeah.
costs.
Well,
and
that
keep
would
it
be a
there.
problem. Amy's like a team of mules. You can pull them over there and one for.
Could save $8
There
grand.
will be some upfront costs because, what kind of furniture would they leave? What kind of partitions? What kind of, I haven't even started having those conversations with Doug because that's not in our current plans.
Would we just need to vote on it, or are we just in agreement that, yeah, when you can do it, do it?
I would think a vote would be
Safe, so then you're comfortable.
so at least it's on the record that the plans are. And, I want to communicate with Denison State Bank has been great.
Yes.
And because I do want to work in their timeline. It's not like we have to, we don't have an emergency. Other than it would be at least nice for my office, for me to be officing out of there at the start of school, just for administrative support at the start of school. But that doesn't mean, right now, half the time, I'm not at the bank. I'm either over there or I'm, so.
I like the fact, once again, that we give those off the more ownership in the district, now district offices over there. Big part of the thing. The one thing I do think though, is I do think we need a vote. But I think we need to probably maybe wait to next month and hash out more with Doug. And then also let Denison State Bank know.
Yeah.
That we're.
Was anybody against it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to get a feel for where everybody was at.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
I think,
Yeah.
savings alone, I guess.
We already own the building, why wouldn't we go there?
And look at, the board meetings and has nothing to do with like a mile closer to my house.
Yeah, sure.
It's not that
Well,
bad.
the board room at the bank is just not conducive. The one over there is a lot more conducive.
And it's set up, IT's there somewhat.
We'll still have to have big meetings.
Yeah.
It's still not big enough for big
No.
meetings.
It's
But it would be,
okay.
we'd be able to use it way more.
So let's revisit this briefly, maybe at the next
Can I
meeting.
ask one more question? Is the administrative staff aware that this might happen, as in the ladies that are working in Marion? I mean, this
Oh.
Amy's here.
What do you think, Amy?
Obviously, I've
something
had a lot
It
of.
doesn't matter where I work.
I just have to have
Yeah,
a private space because of what I do.
sure.
And I can't share my space with anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
my own reason, But it doesn't
All
matter.
right, that they were.
But that's actually a very good question. Is there a space big enough for your,
There is.
her stuff?
There's a lot of options
Okay.
to be able to.
And they're aware this conversation is happening and.
We've talked for a long time.
Several months.
Yeah, we just haven't gone over with tape measures because,
Sure.
We not, yeah.
Yeah.
so we've drawn and we've sketched a little and we've,
Okay.
just so they are. And the setup at the bank, it's been a great place, but we're all kind of,
You guys are really.
we're not,
Yeah,
but. We make anything work.
yeah.
It also puts
Thank you for that.
Aaron as clerk back with us,
Yes.
which is sometimes a challenge, but we make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense.
I like it.
Moving on to personal items. How long we need on this one?
I would suggest there was a student one first. I don't know,
Okay,
which when you're looking at.
we're down to,
Well, it's up to whichever one you want to do first.
let's do the student one to get it done. So let's.
5 minutes before?
Yep.
Thank you.
So.
Simply, Mrs. Barr, Mrs. Frakes.
Okay, Mr. President, I move to enter executive session for KSA 75-4319 for a period of. What did you say? 15 minutes. At 8:10 PM to discuss matters relating to actions adversely or favorably affecting a student under the coma exception, including Dr. Newenswander and admin. With the open meeting to resume in the board meeting or in the boardroom at 8:35. 25 PM, 8:25 PM.
Second,
No, Mrs. Barr and Mrs. Frakes.
so we said admin, is that?
Okay, Dr. Newenswander and Mrs. Barr and Dr. Frakes. Dr. Mrs. I mean, get out to her with the open meeting to resume in the board room at 8:25 PM.
Second.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Congratulations.
Yes. Okay, your name is.